What if I revealed that behind the soaring spires, scented courtyards, and gleaming halls of the Ottoman Empire, there lay a hidden realm? A realm where young lads were schooled not just in royal etiquette or scholarly arts, but in the craft of delight. They weren't captives. They weren't warriors. They were male consorts, nurtured, cherished, and then, like murmurs in the shadows, erased. In the Ottoman court, these lads weren't veiled in secrecy. They were showcased as emblems of riches, might, and masculine honor. This isn't merely a sideline tale in history. This is a saga of longing, treachery, and a cultural contradiction that will leave you astounded. While many picture harems as solely female spaces, brimming with cloaked ladies and rulers' desires, that's only part of the tale. Across ancient societies, Persia, Greece, China, men too were kept for charm and fellowship, and the Ottoman Empire was no exception. Here, male consorts were a mark of refinement, their existence accepted, even extolled among the privileged. But don't be misled. Being treasured did not mean being secure. Behind every grin lurked a shadow. Behind every velvet cloak, a prison. Consider, for instance, the eerie and nearly legendary story of Tariq and Time, two young Ottomans seized by Christian lords. Most would anticipate torture, shackles, and agony, but instead their captors grew fond of them, lavished them with presents, bathed them in warmth. For a fleeting moment, it seemed affection had prevailed over rivalry. But truth struck cruelly. Society, both Christian and Muslim, wasn't prepared for their reality. Their bond, though pure, was branded as deviant, and the penalty? Confinement, disgrace, and division. That was just the start. In this video, we're unveiling the depths of history to reveal stories like theirs, tales of lads drawn into the court not as attendants or captives, but as cherished ones. The Ottoman Empire, spanning southeastern Europe to the Middle East and North Africa, was one of the mightiest powers the world had known. Under leaders like Solomon the Splendid, the empire soared in culture, military strength, and governance finesse. But beneath the veneer of laws and realms was a world ruled by feeling, mystery, and taboo delight. Handsome, gifted young men, sometimes as young as 8 or 9, were chosen for their appearance, poise, and potential. They were brought into the royal court, often from conquered regions, and lodged within the palace chambers. There, they were schooled in music, manners, verse, statecraft, and how to enchant. These lads, known as Yemeks, dwelt in gender-specific quarters, closely watched by palace overseers. Venetian diplomat Benedetto Ramberti marveled that up to 500 youths aged 8 to 20 resided within the palace and were deemed the joy of the master. They were not permitted to depart until they were judged fit for public roles or until their charm waned. They were shaped not only for duty, but for adoration. Many sultans and senior officials openly kept such lads as companions, and no one raised an eyebrow. You see, the Ottomans didn't view attraction the way we do now. They didn't label people as gay or straight. Instead, they grouped lovers by authority, the dominant and the submissive. A man could cherish another man, and it wasn't seen as unusual, so long as he upheld a commanding role. But love, true love, was always vulnerable. For centuries, these bonds flourished behind palace gates and among military ranks. Even janissaries, the empire's elite troops, engaged in these arrangements. For many lads, being selected meant escaping hardship, gaining knowledge, and living in splendor. For the older men, it meant fellowship, status, and beauty within reach. Some Yemeks were even granted tax relief in exchange for their devotion and service. To outsiders, it might have seemed a fantasy, but was it? This entire concealed system was carefully managed by the Sultan himself. He held the final word on the lives, futures, and even the romances of these lads. Many never left the palace until they were deemed ready for power, for politics, or for marriage. But change was looming. As the empire opened its doors to Western diplomacy and ideals, foreign notions of morality, sin, and disgrace seeped into Ottoman society. By the 18th century, these once honored practices began to fade into obscurity. Homosexuality, though still practiced, was now concealed, murmured about, and increasingly condemned. A grim shadow hung over the joys of the past. Then came the blow that shattered everything: the Penal Code of 1858. According to the law, anyone who openly committed acts against decency and honor could face jail time of up to 1 year and heavy fines. In Istanbul, government-sanctioned violence followed. Men were attacked in the streets, their heads shaved in shame. Some were abused. The message was stark: there would be no more acceptance. Many wondered, why now? The Quran had been unchanged for centuries, so what sparked this sudden hostility? Historians point to Western influence as European ideals of virtue and modern civilization took root. Ottoman society began to adopt them. Where love had once been fluid, it was now controlled. Where passion had once been lyrical, it was now unlawful. The West didn't just bring science and steam engines, it brought stigma. And yet, some dared to defy. Tariq and Time, the young men we met earlier, had fallen deeply in love with their Christian captors. After being jailed for immorality, the two Ottoman men were eventually freed, but their lovers remained imprisoned. Unwilling to be parted, the Christian nobleman broke free, reunited with Tariq and Time, and in a bold act of devotion, converted to Islam just to be together. They hoped that by embracing the Ottoman faith, they could live freely. It was a risk born of desperation, but it wasn't enough to stem the tide of history. By the late 19th century, the golden era of the male cherished was over. Women had taken their place in the courts. Public affection turned toward young girls. Ottoman scribe Ahmed Cevdet Pasha mourned, "Women lovers have grown in number, while male beloveds have dwindled. It is as if the people of Lot have been swallowed by the earth." And just like that, an entire era vanished. Today, records of what followed are scarce. Few dared to preserve this contentious chapter of Ottoman history. But if we search deep enough, the stories are still there. Stories of lads loved and lost, of courts that murmured their names, and of a love that bloomed even when it wasn't allowed to endure. Tariq and Time remind us that no matter how cruel the world becomes, love, true love, will always find a path. Whether in the radiant chambers of a sultan's palace or the grim cells of a prison. Passion doesn't fade, it adapts, it persists, and sometimes it escapes. So, what do you think? Was this hidden world a testament to acceptance or a veil concealing darker truths? Let us know in the comments. And if you crave more shocking, untold stories from history's shadowed corners, make sure to like, subscribe, and join us on this journey through the past.